When you first become aware of Abraham and get into it and start learning about it, and you try to tell your friends and everything, most can accept the premises easily. The hardest thing for them to get to understand or to accept is that you are channeled. That is the part that they can't break through. And
well,
so
most people have a hard time accepting the broadness of their being. Humans work very hard to cling to their limited view. But when you think about what we are offering here, we are not expressing limited access to this source. We are telling you that you all are extensions of this source. And it's necessary for you to understand that broader part of it before our message has any meaning whatsoever. In other words, the whole premise that we are wanting to get across to you so that you can utilize it in a meaningful way is that you are an extension of Source, and that guidance is there within you in every moment, and that your quest, your determined quest, must be to seek the joy that is your indicator that you are allowing connection to that, you see. And so we know it's the hard part to get, although we don't understand why it's the hard part to get, because you all are full of that source, you see. We understand that humans have been seeing themselves in their physical format for a very long time and talking about it, and yet there is so much about source that you dabble in without a clear understanding about it. And so we thought, with the help of Jerry and Esther and those like you, that it could be beneficial to really understand your connection with who you are. And so, even though that part of it is hard to get your thoughts around, it is the most meaningful, important part of our message.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay. My question is my son. He
is a powerful teacher, perfectly focused, right now in big step 1. We don't have to ask you how you feel about it, because as you begin to speak about it, you feel strong negative emotion. So if we were doing a virtual reality with you, we would encourage you not to bring your son in, because it would be a sure thing that would keep you from your connection. So the question that we ask you is, do you feel that if you were to withdraw your attention for a little while from your son, do you feel that you would be abandoning him? You wouldn't be. You would be giving yourself the opportunity to connect with Source, and then any thought of him would be beneficial not only to you but to him.
Okay. I feel a little better about where I am. I thought I was going to ask on behalf of my husband, who says 2 words out the year, who's the great pianist, but I realized I was the one that had the issue. And I asked him, I said, if you could ask her a question, which I know you're not going to get up here and ask, what would you say? And it was about our son. And I realized I'm the one with the issue of him being so perfect in a world that appears so unready for a male of his ethnic background being so clear about his mission. And my husband said it in such an amazing way. He said, I'm so afraid that he'll get arrested one day because he's so clear. And I was like, wow, something will happen, because he's just a non-stoppable entity. He is so clear about himself. His emotions are clear. He can tell you how he's feeling at any given time. He's 3 years old. And
isn't this a novel thing, this conversation? Because you're not a mother with a troubled son wanting to bring him back to well-being. You're a mother with a perfect son worried that he's headed for trouble.
Yeah, that is so true. He's perfect.
And so what your question really is what might we do to help him to maintain his balance so that he never has to endure any of the injustices or the unfairnesses that we have heard of others or that we ourselves might have endured.
Right.
And what we're wanting to say to you is, please do not ever set forth the intent of depriving your child of step 1. Because if he is not experiencing the opportunity to define his own desires, and contrast always does that, then he will never take any pleasure of bringing himself into the place of allowing his desires. In other words, he would always feel lucky, or he would feel blessed, but he would never feel deserving, really, of what is coming. So what you're wanting to say is, rather than condemning the world that is ignorant and doesn't know what it's doing, instead applaud his balance and your own, and applaud law of attraction, which will only bring to him what he's a vibrational match to, and applaud your knowledge of law of attraction, which will help him to know every step along the way why he's getting what he's getting. In other words, how wonderful it's going to be for him when something is not going very well, for you to help him to understand through the obvious experience that he is living how this feeling that he's having matches exactly what he's getting. Think about source energy, who adores you, sending you forth into this physical environment. Now, we know many of you are saying, why me? Why would you send me forth into this environment? But we want you to begin to recognize that this environment with all of its variety is what gives birth to the desire, and without that there would be no life pouring through you. There would be no expansion of the universe. So all of it is worth it. Your son, from his inner being's point of view, would say to you, please do not try to protect me. Please do not try to deprive me of the contrast which will help me to define my preferences. Because at this point, he still knows, he still remembers that when his preference is born, the source will answer it. That's why he feels invincible, you see. And the reason that you feel sadness when you think about him losing that is, as much as anything, because you recognize that at one time you were like that and you lost it, and you think that it is inevitable that he will too. And we say, but you have found it.
Right.
And he will too. And maybe because of parents like you, he will not get far off track. Maybe he'll be one that lets his desire get out there a little bit, but not so far that he cannot bring his allowing right up to it. Maybe the perfection of that which you are seeing is what he's come forth to live. Do not worry. All is very well there. And do not condemn an ignorant world, because condemnation of their ignorance brings them right to you. Where acknowledging that there are some who don't understand and some that do, and that it's a great big mix out here in this world, and that law of attraction is managing it, then as you work to maintain your vibration, you set an example to your son and to everyone who is around you to maintain their vibration, and you don't go running around saying, we need to fix this and we need to fix this and they need to be different and they need to be different, because you know, every time you decide that somebody needs to be different, they stand firm to show you that they're not willing to be different, because you activate within them the reason that you needed them to be different. We think that your brilliant son has come forth at the perfect time, when there is more variety, which causes more desire, more energy flowing, much more energy available, much more energy to be molded, much more opportunity to be experienced, and much more reason to find individual balance. We do not think that you need to learn balance before you can teach it to your son, because your son already has balance. So there's plenty of leeway. And so, as we said to our mother earlier, be real with your son. Be real. Let your awareness of your emotions, your guidance system, be something that you talk about on a regular basis. When you feel negative emotion, don't pretend that you don't. Say, oh man, am I out of balance? I need to do something about this. And then show visible effort of doing something about it. And let him behold someone who was connected and felt good to him, who got disconnected and didn't feel good, who deliberately got connected and felt good. In other words, what a wonderful thing you can give to your son. And then he will never again fear his disconnection as you are currently fearing his disconnection, because he understands that under all cases that you can bring yourself back into connection. He's seen it with you, you see.
Got it. Okay. My final question is...
Before you go to the next, let us give you one more thing. In your physical environment, you have an expression, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And we feel that with so many of our physical friends. You are almost afraid to let yourself get happy because you think you could not bear if the happiness went away. I almost don't dare love this person because they might not stay and then I will hurt. Or I almost don't dare wish for success because if it doesn't come easily, then I will feel pain. And what we are really wanting you to hear is that there is nothing that you need to ever fear daring to wish for, because this universe has already figured out how you will achieve it. So all you have to do is start trusting that it will be, and it will be. See, that's what happened. This child came forth and just exudes the example of well-being, so much so that you fear that that well-being will not always last. When the message that the child is giving you, and it is certain the message that we are giving you, is that well-being is the order of things, and getting separated from it is the anomaly. And you say, that's my very point. I don't ever want to see him separated from it. And we say, then don't hold it as your point of consciousness. And not that you could cause him separation, but you could cause yourself separation as you worry about him having separation.
Got it.
So just relax and have fun with it and trust that all is well, because it is. And now your third question?
Yes, my third question is, I'm a person who sought out finding my ethnic inheritance.
Because?
Because I wanted a starting place that made sense, that was on a foundation I could touch.
How did it go?
Not too well. And how I know that is when I looked at you today, I could not see a white woman. I kept looking at how you stood. I said, God, I've never seen anyone stand like that. You know, to be very honest, just looking at you was my mirror of how that family, of the ethnic family, there was a bigger family. And my logic always taught me that in order to embrace your spiritual family, you must embrace your ethnic. Standing here with you today, I'm wrong. I didn't know that. But I feel a disloyalty when I walk and I look at how do I bring this back to my ethnic family who's in such bad shape in the world. We are in bad shape as people of African descent, and that bothers me. It always bothered me.
Well, maybe you are and maybe you aren't. And maybe you're resonating with that which is in bad shape, and maybe you're resonating with that which, in other words, it's not about that. Jerry and Esther were in California recently, and they were in this lovely little town where there were some restaurants, and they'd gone down for breakfast. And so it was in La Jolla, and there were people that were standing in line for this wonderful breakfast. And Jerry and Esther were sort of standing there and observing. And there was a beautiful couple who looked almost exactly like you, who were standing there dressed beautifully and so in love with each other that Esther could hardly take her eyes off of them. They were just radiating well-being. And then they were all waiting for tables, and they were trying to negotiate a table for 5 people in a restaurant that was already very packed. And Esther was thinking, I'll bet they pull this off. If anybody can. She was just feeling the feeling of them. And then he got on the telephone, and he is talking to someone that he adores. And Esther was loving the exuberance that she was feeling from him. And Esther was thinking, I wish we were their friends. I wish it was us that was on the phone, and it was us that they were trying to get to come to that restaurant to be with them. And then shortly, a car pulled up the street, and this is who he's been talking to on the telephone. And there they are, and they're all so happy to see one another. And Esther said, I want to play with them. I want to be their friend. And then she thought what you are thinking. She thought, they would not understand that I am at one with them. They would not understand that I see them only as energy. They would misunderstand my motive. If I said, can I come and sit with you? Can I play with you? Can I get in on the energy that is you? And Esther was so annoyed at the crevasse that was keeping her from being brave enough to go forth to them and say, I'm like you, and I want to sit down here and have a good time with you like I see you having with your friends. And what you are saying and what Esther is saying, what we are saying is, it is one very big vibrational family. And when you begin to accept your family of connection, you understand that there are no racial barriers, that there are no family heritages. In other words, there are bigger roots, there are bigger laws, there are bigger reasons for your connection than the color of your skin.